What do you need to, what would be the good thing for you to do in terms of, finally getting your act together, finally getting things, you know, in gear? Well, we've made it easy for you. In fact, we started this just about a year ago, and it's worked so well that we're keeping with it. Back in the day, I mean, way back in the day, it was all, um, 30 years ago, it was all make an appointment, come in, you know, uh, get signed up. That's kind of how it used to be back in the day. Or something would happen. There'd be a reason for somebody to want to do estate planning, right? There'd be something going on. And fine, that's fine. Then that worked great for a while there. And then, 10, 15 years. But then we started doing workshops, and the idea behind the workshop was there are these things, situations that confront most people. How can we, you know, make that, and if you're curious, let's face it. I mean, it's a pretty hard thing to go to a lawyer's office. Like, I asked my own people, my own our paralegals and support staff and what have you. And it's like, when was the last time you were in an attorney's office and this place doesn't count? And the answer is never. Why would I go see a lawyer? Ooh, icky lawyers. I get it. Okay, fine. But what if so it's difficult to get in to see a lawyer, right? The burden, the barrier to get in there psychologically and every other way is very high. So you have to have like a super good reason for ringing the doorbell. You have to have a super good, even for calling the show, right? You have to have a very good reason for doing it, because that'll be difficult and expensive, and I may not want to know what he's got to say, et cetera, et cetera. All right, fair enough. That's the way it is. So then the question becomes, all right, if that's the way it is, how can we make it easier? And what if you were in a room with a group of people just like you? Maybe that would make it easier. And so for the last 20 years, we've been doing that. We've been doing the workshops. It's like you do a workshop. But then what we were doing was saying, okay, now let's go to the one-on-one. Once you've decided, and for some people, one-on-one is still appropriate. But the problem is, now you're in a one-on-one situation. And again, the barrier to sitting across the table with a lawyer, is very high. Very, it's not a fun thing to do. Got it. So what if we could make it a fun thing to do, but not, you're never going to make a one-on-one with a lawyer a fun thing, unless, of course, it's me. But uh, anyway, that's a difficult thing. That's a big ask, right? Big thing to make it a fun situation. So what we decided to do, and I saw a friend of mine doing this, so I just copied him. You do what works, right? And what he was doing was saying, okay, that second meeting, we're not going to do it one-on-one. We're going to do the workshop again, but not the same workshop. The first workshop is, and for people who listen to the show, these are very familiar things, right? That estate planning doesn't work. 90+% fail. Most of the people who have trusts, the trusts will fail. And the reason they fail is because your stuff is not in the trust, which is why we have a whole process for making sure your stuff is in the trust. But I don't see anyone else doing that. I'm informed that there is another attorney out there who is doing it. Great, right on, good for him. But that's what we've been doing for 30 years now, to make sure that your stuff is actually in the trust, because everybody knows it'll fail if it's not in the trust. All right. We call it the 3 secrets. Ooh, here's what people don't want you to know. And yet, the fact that there are plenty of people out there who continue to make, it's not about death and taxes. That's not what this is about. This whole planning thing. It's about you. It's about your life. It's about not going broke. It's about getting out what you paid in. That's what this is about, right? And then eventually, yeah, do we get to death and taxes? Yeah, we get to death and taxes. But let's not kid ourselves that that's what's really the most important thing here. That's just a nice thing that happens along the way, is we deal with those issues. But that's not the point. That's not the key. The key is you, your spouse, loved ones. That's really the key here. And it's while you're alive, not when you're dead. Make sense? Okay. But now we're doing that in a workshop. So what we do, you come to the first workshop. It's like, hey, guess what? Here's the way this stuff really works. Okay, did you know this? Did you know that? And it's a very short, relatively short. It's an hour long, thereabouts, and we answer questions and make go a little bit longer, depending on the number of questions you get. But basically, an hour to say you were thinking about this stuff. Here's what you should be thinking about. Come to the next workshop, and we'll start getting into the nitty gritty of this. But the first workshop is, well, does it do any of these things matter to you? Maybe they don't. And then what we do after the workshop, you schedule we call it the right fit call. Should you be in the workshop at all? Is this appropriate for you? Maybe it isn't. Look, if the thing is, this is after the first workshop. So we have the workshop that, come on down, right? It's your turn to get some real basic type information, really basic, you know, is this an issue for you? If it's not, it's not. If you don't care that you're going to go broke, right? If you own the nursing home, okay, fine. I guess it's not for you. What do you care? But then we do the right fit. After that, we schedule a telephone call, answer any questions you may have. Uh, is this the right fit for you? Is this a good thing for you? Because if it is, come to the next workshop. And the next workshop is where you start actually making decisions. It's in a group setting. It is. You're in a room, almost like church, kind of, but you can talk. Uh, it's in a group setting with other people very similar to you. Same issues, same problems. Basically, things are they're very comfortable kinds of meetings because you're in with other people kind of similar to you. And then you make some decisions. You decide then, hey, is this something I want to take care of? Or do I want to put it off for another decade or two? It's up to you. Do what you want, right? But it's a group thing. So you're not, they're focused on me. It's like, well, we are, to some extent. But also you're focused on you primarily. Then if you decide to move ahead from there, then it is a one-on-one because now you've decided, you've had 3 contacts, right? You've really gone into this. You've gotten your written materials. You've gotten your workbooks. You've gone through it. Then you do the one-on-one with the attorney to review documents, make final decisions. Is this really the way you want it? And then the rest of it, again, are group meetings. Right now, we're scheduling for next year our first event. We decided to go rather with things at the office exclusively to go with the Meyer Gardens to be taking some space there, and we're coordinating it with events over there. So butterflies are blooming, concert series, the thing they're doing at the farm, the Christmas thing, right? So that'll all be in place, and the idea is that it can be kind of difficult to get people to focus on this stuff because not a lot of fun. Well, what if we made it fun? What if we did make it fun? Right? So come see the butterflies and get an update on estate planning. Ta-da. I heard somewhere that a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Well, okay, that's the idea. All right, let's make this something that is not I bought some books, I bought some papers, I stick them on the shelf, forgot about them until I'm dead. No, this is a living thing, making sure that it benefits you now and later.